The stealthy figures slide down on cables from the upper rafters of the subway and onto the fast-moving train just before it completes its pass. The rapid-paced transport moves at such great speeds that the overhead illumination of the expansive tunnel system is never constant. This, however, doesn't deter the two figures in the least, a mission on their minds, obstacles seemingly non-existent.
Tech's given us half an hour of communications jamming,
the first figure reminds the second as a small beam of light catches his head, momentarily revealing the gleaming blue eye shield of his high-tech helmet.
This train reaches its destination in about 20 minutes. Our guy doesn't have much time to pull this off,
responds the second figure.
Hey, this is the prize of the Armed Reserve Mecha we're talking about here. Don't sweat, he'll get the job done, or Hawk will have all our heads.
At the back of the train, in the interrogation cell, the soldier calling himself Deval Fhenin notices that the flickering red light on his gadget has gone solid. That's my cue. Pushing in the disk's second button, a short but powerful semicircular blade is released from its side. With a dexterous twist of the wrist, the blade strikes the chain, and the cuffs binding his hands snap in two. Now for the second act, he says under his breath, stepping over to the armored compartment's sealed outer window. After prying the locks off with his blade, Fhenin cautiously sets down the metal covering, and a hand reaches in between the barred window there. It drops a small air canister and a colored ball resembling a marble into Fhenin's hands, gives him the thumbs up, and pulls out. He puts the air canister's lip in his mouth and activates it. Then, rapping on the door, Fhenin hears the annoyed voice of the guard outside his cell. "What do you want?" "I can't breathe. There's some sort of gas leak in here. Help me." The guard steps over to the vidscreen and types in Fhenin's cell number in order to get a camera shot of what's really going on. "Idiot, you know I'm not going to fall for..." Fhenin squeezes the marble and it spews a bluish gas all over the cell. The WDC sentry is surprised to see on the vidscreen that, in truth, the room is leaking some sort of gas. Switching on his helmet's air filter, he heads for the door. Stepping in front of the cell entrance's keypad, the armored guard begins to type in the code that will open the compartment. At this point, Fhenin brings his disc blade forth again and slides it up and down the crease of the door. Finally catching the magnetic lock, he presses the button on the disc that brought forth the razor for a second time, and the apparatus sends an electrical current into the lock. As a result, the lock overloads and releases its hold on the door, but, more importantly, the shock electrifies and knocks out the startled guard, whose hand was on it. The door slides open with a hiss, and the blue smoke, unleashed, floods the train car. Tapping a small device hidden in his ear, Fhenin learns he has 15 minutes to reach 2 train cars up, where the data room, his target, resides. These are just the kind of odds Vince craves, Fhenin notes in thought, referring to an old friend of his. Snatching an energy pistol off the dropped guard, he makes his way down the smoke-filled car, only to be met by the silhouettes of 3 more armed guards. The trio are caught by surprise as Fhenin bursts forth from the smoke and blasts them successively in their chests with his confiscated gun. They sprawl backward, but get back up just as quickly and raise their weapons on him.
"Freeze,"
he hears one of the guards order, his voice muffled by his streamlined helmet's circular mouthpiece. Fantastic, more body armor, that's all I need right now. But then, all at once, a small explosive device opens the back of the train, and 2 soldiers brandishing EMGs in full white and gray body armor swing in on grappling cables.
"Get down, Lieutenant!"
they scream as they unleash a shower of energy bolts on the 3 guards. The combined force of the blast throws the guards hard to the floor and against the walls, their armor superheated. As this WDC trio falls unconscious, the pair of futuristic Centurions runs in front of Fhenin to meet a new pack of guards arriving from the next car up.
"Get to the roof and make your way to the data room,"
one of the soldiers tells Fhenin, letting off another spray of energy at his adversaries with one hand while tossing a grappling gun to the Armex prisoner with the other. "I'm on it," he responds, swiftly backtracking to the soldier's forced entryway. Climbing the loosened side ladder there to the roof of the train, he can hear the battling going on below. However, he does his best to ignore it, his pulse pounding like a jackhammer as the wind force seems to whip through his very being. Fhenin begins to sprint as carefully as possible along the sleek and slippery roof toward the 3rd car from the rear, aware that his time is scarce. Making his way toward the end of the first car, he realizes that jumping from one car to the next will prove impossible due to the speed and power of the train. So, reaching the edge of the first, he drops down on top of a lackadaisical WDC guard. Fhenin stomps the soldier flat onto the narrow metal causeway that connects the train cars. The WDC guard works his way up with some struggle, but he has lost his gun in the tussle. Fhenin sweeps the legs out from under the dazed guard with a low kick, and the astonished sentry is sent rolling backward down the tracks. Scattered energy fire landing all around him now, he leaps onto and nimbly scales another ladder to the top of the second car. One more car to go, he tells himself, scrambling forward. But the Armax agent's thoughts are abruptly severed as a hatch pops open in front of him and a guard emerges halfway with an energy rifle. Before the sentry can open fire, Fhenin has dropped to the roof covering on his stomach and places a skillful energy shot on the helmeted head of the WDC underling, picking him off and causing him to tumble back into the opening. 11 minutes, his earpiece relays while he slides off the end of the second car with less care. Shooting the third car's keypad lock as he approaches it, his accomplices inform him via the earpiece that they are bailing out. Fhenin turns to see the two white and gray soldiers grapple onto the rafters, while the back car explodes in a red fireball and bounces in reverse down the spacious techno tunnel.
That should buy you some time. Tech's knocked out the vidcams. Go get those records.
The first soldier comments through Fhenin's hidden earpiece over the moaning train's reverberations. The Armax agent enters the third car and is astonished by the amount of computers and technical equipment crammed in it. Waving his gun, he scares off the technicians in the room, who flee into the next train car in a hurry. He sits down at one of the consoles, inserts the advanced laser USB drive that has extended from his disc-shaped gadget, and begins to scan for the person who ratted out the New Mexican Union Armax storage site. He keeps a hand on his gun, glancing nervously back and forth between the car's two outlets, but it doesn't take long for the computer to present him a response. Pater, General Sebastian Thermasi of the Antarctic Training Facility. But if the government has records on our head training facility, why haven't they assaulted it yet? And why would this file be limited to a colonel in the WDC? Unplugging his device from the AL USB port, retracting its extension, and tucking it into his right cuff pocket, he hops from the seat and begins to leave. He is stopped in his tracks, though, by a young, brown-haired officer in blue and gray, who has set him in the sights of his energy pistol. "Hold it right there, pal," the officer says as Fhenin turns around slowly to face his captor. "Place that disc." The WC soldier cuts his sentence short, seeing something bewildering. "What? I know you. Brother? Is that you? It can't be. You're dead."